Tim, how are you? Tim, can you hear me? How are you? Mike? Am I here? Is
Mike's on mute, it looks like.
Mike is?
Tim, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah,
Mike?
Oh, it's a delay.
I gotta get set up.
Mike is?
Tim, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah,
There-
Mike?
There's
Oh, it's a delay.
probably a little delay.
I gotta get set up.
Oh, we're streaming live, everyone. Okay.
I'm about to connect.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a delay.
probably a little delay.
I gotta get set up.
We're streaming live, everyone. Okay.
I'm about to connect.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a little delay.
We're streaming live.
I'm about to connect. Yeah, probably a little delay. Why does is anyone listening on YouTube?
I'm not on YouTube, no.
Because that's why we're hearing. Is anyone listening on YouTube? All right, give me a minute.
I'm not on YouTube, no.
There's a delay there. We needed at least one more member for there to be a quorum.
Sounds better, now, right? We're not getting that extra, yeah, it's good.
We don't have enough for a quorum yet, huh?
Well, the only person that told me he would not be attending is Glenn. I didn't hear from John or George or Scott or Kevin Pervin. And you, Rob, told me that Rudy is not joining us.
Yeah, Rudy said he wasn't coming on. He was tired of Zoom meetings. Let me see if I can get George or
Well, and Kevin Hanley is definitely going to join the meeting too. He's not on yet. There he is.
I'm going to try Kevin Pervin, and if we can't get him, then we just will adjourn the meeting. I can't get either of those guys. You know, if they weren't coming on the meeting, they should have at least let you know. I mean,
Oh, there's George. Yes.
George, you got my message? Oh, there's John too. Okay, I guess we're all right.
Awesome.
It's not going to take very long. See if John comes up. Hey, John. Hey, George.
Yeah, hey, it kept kicking me out. I don't know if you guys were having the same problem.
No, it's only you, George.
Yeah, huh. Not scared, not surprised.
All right. Well, we got enough to have a quorum, so I guess we'll get going. It's not going to take long. All
What you
right.
always say.
Yeah. Well, this time I actually mean it.
For real.
Unless one of you guys start making a lot of comments, but that's your prerogative. All
I'll stay
right.
quiet.
All right. The August 12th work session of the Wyckoff Planning Board is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on the annual schedule of meetings. Copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. Copy has been filed with the Township Clerk, the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers with general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and mailed to said newspapers. Members of the public are welcome to be present at this meeting. However, in accordance with Section 7A of the Open Public Meetings Act, participation on the part of the public at this meeting will not be entertained. Please take notice that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, and in consideration of Executive Order number 103 issued by Governor Murphy on March 9, 2020, declaring a state of emergency in the state of New Jersey, the Planning Board of the Township of Wyckoff is hereby notify the public that to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens, the meeting of the Zoning Board of the Township of Wyckoff scheduled for Wednesday, August 12th, 2020 will be conducted virtually through Zoom technology, and it will be live streamed on the Township of Wyckoff's YouTube channel. The work session is scheduled for 7:30 and the public business meeting will begin at 8 p.m. These measures are implemented to allow members of the public to observe the meeting via live streaming and to provide the ability to comment during the periods for public comment during the meeting through Zoom telephone call and technology. Joining the meeting by telephone will be utilized as security against the sharing of inappropriate video content. General instructions regarding access to the meeting is posted on the Wyckoff website's homepage at www.wyckoff-nj.com as a news item. Okay, can we have a roll call, please, Maureen?
Certainly. Ms. Conlon,
Here.
Mr. Riato,
Here.
Mr. Homichak,
Here.
Mr. Alexandru,
Here,
Mr. On,
Here,
Mr. Fisher, Mr. Sietsma, Mr. Boonstra, Mr. Pervin, Mayor Shanley, Chairman Fortunato.
Here. I guess we have a new member with us. So Kelly, I haven't had the opportunity to meet you, but welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
I was a little confused when I saw you on the screen, but now I get it. Okay. So how long you been in town, Kelly?
My whole life, 42 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Except for a few years when I was in college, but other than that, I've pretty much
Okay.
been a lifelong Wyckoff resident.
Well, this is an exciting and dynamic board, so you're going to have a lot of interesting conversations and learn a lot of stuff. So.
That's great.
Well, Kelly was on the zoning board
Oh, okay. Yes. All right.
up until a week or two ago when she let me know that she was leaving the zoning board to take Sarah's seat on the planning board.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I did hear some more.
we lost Sarah.
Well, she
moved?
moved temporarily to California for 2 to possibly 3 years because of her husband's job. She said she's definitely coming back, but in the meantime,
Got it.
that's the story.
Originally, it was going to be 3 to 6 months, but it turns out it's going to be longer than that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get to it. As I said, it shouldn't take very long. We'll start out with the July 8, 2020 work session and regular business minutes. Did everybody have an opportunity to review those?
Yeah.
The only comment I have on the work session minutes was on page 2, under the resolutions to be memorialized, Kale. Directly under Kale, second line is, it should be at instead of a planning board request.
At instead of a.
At planning board request of the building department of the Township of Wykoff to stay of enforcement of the resolution denying the soil movement application.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other comments or changes on the July 8th work session? Okay, moving to the business meeting minutes. Same comment on those, Maureen. Under Kale on the first page. It's the same thing. Just change the A to an at.
Same exact thing? Okay.
And then on the second page, the very last line, just Main Street, Main should be capitalized.
Main Street?
Yeah, the main is should be capitalized.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other comments or changes? If there are none, can I have a motion to approve work session and business, public business meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, Anthony and George?
Yep.
Thank you. Mr. Iato,
Yes.
Mr. Homichak,
Yes.
Mr. Alexandru,
Yep.
Mr. On,
Yes.
Mayor Shanley, Chairman Fortunato.
Yes. Is Mayor Shanley's audio not working? Is that? Okay. I guess so. Is that what you're holding up a sign, Mayor? You have laryngitis? All right.
Tim has a loss for words.
It's all his,
That's
it's
right.
all his,
That's a bad move in a politician, right?
His wife had muted him.
his
Too many,
nightly,
too many mayor videos.
Uh,
his nightly email updates or Facebook updates. That's what's causing it.
Okay. All right. Okay, the next item of business is the approval of payment resolution number 20-08. There's just one item on there. That's $400 regarding the Kale matter for professional services. Any comments?
I saw that, but who's that going to?
Oh, the professional resolution, payment resolutions are for the attorney.
The attorney, okay.
Okay, so it's going to Mr. Hanley then.
Got it.
Okay.
Rob,
All right.
I have a question, or Kevin. So since Kelly has not been involved in any of this old business, obviously I didn't call on her for the minutes.
Correct.
What about the payment? Kevin, you're muted. Kevin, you're muted.
Kevin.
You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Hanley.
Okay, I was unmuted before.
You're okay.
So is Kelly just observing on the old business or,
I would think so, yes.
okay,
Yeah, we don't need Kelly on the boat, so probably better off just leaving her off it on this one.
right. Okay, thanks. So,
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the planning board resolution 20-08 as before you.
Second.
Mr. Iato,
Yes.
Mr. Homichak,
Yes.
Mr. On,
Yes.
Mr. Alexandru,
Yes.
Mayor Shanley, Chairman Fortunato.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the only application that was listed for this evening is being carried is the Galasso Enterprises matter, which is 825 Wyndham Court North. We're going to be moving in September back toward in-person meetings. So I had advised Maureen to reach out to Mr. Whitaker, who's the applicant's attorney, as well as did you have any conversation with the objecting attorney, Maureen?
I have not yet, but once I know that for real we're gonna do this, I will definitely get in touch with him.
Who is the objecting attorney? You mean somebody's
Yeah,
hired?
It was an attorney,
Scott Pekarsky.
yeah, he actually it represents the Wyndham Court Condominium Association, and they are the objectors, the residents that live there, and he represents them.
Understood.
So, but you did advise Mr. Whitaker that we were intending on hearing this in September, correct, Maureen?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Mr.
And
Go ahead.
I spoke with Bob today, and Joe, who works in the building, kind of takes care of all of the maintenance in town hall, is going to work on the logistics of the 6 feet apart separation in the courtroom, because we have a lot more members than the township committee. The 5 is easy to social distance at the dais and in front of the dais, but if
They're gonna
the
have 2
entire board shows up, that's 11 plus myself, plus Mark DeGennaro, plus Kevin Hanley. If people can choose to still stay home and call in if they don't want to be live in the courtroom. So we're all going to have to talk about that so that I know exactly how many desks or seats I need to prepare. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll have emails going around.
Well, the idea being that the Galasso matter is, especially because it involves objectors, it's a more involved matter, and it's important that we do that in person. So in September, we, in all likelihood, will have an in-person meeting, and the Galasso matter should be on at that time. I understand too that Mr. Kale has filed something with Mr. DeGennaro. So with regard to the pool that he had asked to install, so that matter may be coming back as well. So I do appreciate everyone coming on tonight, so we get at least these housekeeping matters taken care of, and then we have a more involved meeting in September. We won't have to deal with these matters.
Robert, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to bring it up later anyway. I think his 60 days is almost up, but he is definitely going forward with the pool or some application, right?
Yeah, I communicated with Mark DeGennaro, the township engineer, a couple of days ago, because I knew the 60 days was approaching, Anthony, and he did advise me that Mr. Kale had submitted something. I don't think it was complete. I think he was still waiting on something, maybe with regard to the septic tank. Not positive on that.
I spoke to Mark,
Okay.
Rob, after I spoke with you earlier.
Right.
And he said, because I said to him, I don't have anything in my office. And he said that he received a packet, but he first has to review and approve the septic issues
I see.
before it can come before the board for any other work that has to be done. So it's under review with the township engineer. And once he completes his review, we'll find out,
Well, that's definitely going to come back to us because the soil movement issue still has to be dealt with. So there is an application there. It may not be complete. As soon as it is complete, assuming it's done within the time frame of the September meeting, that will also be before us. So we potentially could have a busy meeting in September. Okay. All right. Well, that's all that we have on for the work session. We've got still 7:45, but we'll adjourn. If I can have a motion, is there any other business anybody needs to discuss before we adjourn the work session? We'll come back for the regular business meeting and we'll just go over what we approved in the work session, and then we'll wrap it up. So we'll have to come back for about 5 or 10 minutes figure 10 minutes for the regular business meeting at 8.
There is one thing that Tim kind of put up on the screen. Kelly's going to have to go through the tapes for the Galasso Enterprise thing.
No, the Galasso matter is an entirely new application.
Oh, entirely new? No kidding.
Yeah. So the original hearing, because he's renoticing and resubmitting the application, what was originally heard over a year ago at this point isn't necessarily relevant. We're starting from scratch.
Yeah, I haven't
have
heard that.
revised,
Full
I have
story.
revised plans, and applications for all the board members that will be provided to you once we're gonna go live.
Yeah, Maureen, there's actually, he submitted a new application, correct?
I wasn't aware that it was an entirely new application. I thought it might be a revised application,
Okay.
but
Well,
what
I think we had discussed with Mr. Whitaker himself at a prior meeting, and it was brought up. I think, Anthony, you were present, and I brought up, because I hadn't listened to the entire tape either. That was the one meeting I missed. It was in April of last year. And I think he'd advised that it was his position that it was entirely new. So we're going to start from scratch. He's going to bring all his witnesses back again, and he is going to start the application anew.
I
Was
recall
it going to be
that.
given a new application number? Do we give a number, assign a number or a docket to something? Because there was substantial testimony. I don't want the people who were there before to be misled if it's actually going to be a new application. Because there were a lot of people who showed up and they may have said, well, I had my say. And if it's a new application, they may not feel they have to be there.
Well,
But
that
if
is
it
why-
is, they should be there.
Well, that is why it's being noticed.
I didn't catch the last word.
That's why new notice is going out to everybody.
Okay, well, I think the notice then should also indicate that it's a new application. So
Kevin,
there's no confusion to the,
do me a favor. Why don't tomorrow, can you reach out to Bruce Whitaker, see what his position is on that? Because if he doesn't consider it, I thought we had gone over this with him when he was here on the Kale matter a month or two ago. Would you ask him what his position is on that? Because I remember him saying that the fact that we were essentially starting anew, because I know at the last meeting, in addition to Anthony, there may have been a couple other members who had not heard the tape. So would you find out from him what his position is on that? And then he can clarify it in his notice. Because if in fact he doesn't consider an entirely new application, then including myself, Mr. Riotto and Ms. Conlon should listen to the tapes. And I tell you, the tapes, I listened to most of them and they're extremely hard to hear. So I didn't find them very beneficial, frankly.
What was the resolution of the original application? What was the end result of the Galasso matter?
I don't think it was formally withdrawn, but he asked for an adjournment because he had to get certain
Just
information
stalled.
from the DEP regarding the wetlands. So it's been well over a year.
the whole point, Rob. If I think that he should, if this is a new application, he should formally withdraw the previous one.
I don't know if he ever did or what the exact position is on that.
he did not
Okay, then
formally
I'll,
withdraw the application. He did not
we'll
withdraw the application.
clarify these issues.
Yeah, Kevin, would you reach out to him and clarify it? And then just let me know or let Maureen know. And then listen, I'll listen to the rest of the tape. Ms. Conlon, I'm sure, can listen to it, and Anthony is what Mr. Riotto as well. We obviously don't want to be in a situation if it's necessary, but I do remember going over this before with him.
I recall the conversation, and Mr. Whitaker specifically said that it would be a new application with new notice. That was my recollection.
Yeah, John, thanks, John. That's what I remember as well. But Kevin, I think especially in this type of matter where there is an objector involved, can you get clarification on that? And maybe you can check with Mr. Pekarsky as well and let him know that we have a couple of new members on the board since the initial application was heard, and that there's at least one or two other members who have not listened to the full transcript from that prior meeting, and that we would like to start it anew, and that the audio is actually very poor on that hearing and that tape. and that we would like to start it all anew, and we'd like them both to acknowledge that. Clearly, if both of them acknowledge it's essentially a new application, even if it has the same number, then we can handle it as though it's brand new.
Well, because there are, it goes up on appeal, and then we have an application that we're saying verbally was withdrawn, but we have nothing. And I think that might lead,
You cut it.
who's going to hear it.
You cut out a couple of times. Kevin.
Certainly, we can deny the first application, just put it to bed, right?
Formally withdraw
That's
it.
really an issue, or have him withdraw it, yeah, formally.
I mean, I just want to make sure that the record is clear, so that if it goes up, we don't run into problems down and get a remand.
Well, why don't you talk to Mr. Whitaker and tell him
I
proceed?
certainly will. I will, but that's what my concerns are. I just wanted everyone to know.
Yeah, I think that's legitimate. And then tell him to formally withdraw it and to submit it. I think the reason why he didn't want to do that, if I recall, was because he didn't want to resubmit the application fee. Is that correct, Maureen?
Right. That's why in my mind, they were submitting a revision of the plan because I did not get a new application fee, did not get a letter officially withdrawing the application, didn't,
So Kevin, just check with them, please, and get something in writing stating
I
that
will.
it's,
I will. I just want to make sure because I could just see there's a revision because he's going to have people testifying at the first hearing to one thing. They might be testifying, the same experts might come up and testify to something different in this upcoming hearing. And then if it goes up on appeal, you're going to have a contradictory record for the hearing judge. And I would like to have that eliminated if we can.
yes, I agree with that. I know he was planning on calling all the witnesses new and all of that, but it would be better to get a clarification from both attorneys that it's basically starting from scratch.
Okay, I will call him.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just, one other thing. For the original application, I had recused myself. And so depending on whether this is a new application or not, it'll depend on, it'll impact whether I have to recuse myself again.
Have the circumstances changed? Why did you recuse yourself?
I was working with Mr. Whitaker at that time. That matter is completely settled. It was a recusal out of abundance of caution as opposed to any real conflict of interest.
Okay,
He was representing you, John, on something?
Yes, I was working with him on something. He was representing me. So I just recused myself so that there wouldn't be any problems moving forward.
All right.
I'll look into that just to make sure.
Yeah, why don't you, John, why don't you reach out to Mr. Hanley before next meeting? You guys can try to resolve that. And then that way, when you come on at the next meeting, you'll know where you're.
So Mr. Whitaker served as your attorney? Or you were a witness for one of his clients?
He was it wasn't even, I was working with him on a matter and he was just advising me. So
Oh,
It
so
wasn't
he
even-
was
it wasn't
you in a
even,
professional capacity or informally advising you in a professional capacity?
I hired him to work through an issue. And,
Okay.
and so I was working with him, but it never went to any, trial or any court or any, any suit.
All right, I'll check it. John, if you could just give me a call,
Yep, I'll give you a call.
and then we can discuss it because you're going in and out on, with your audio. So
Okay.
we'll have more time to talk about it because we're coming up to 8 o'clock now and I'm sure everybody's gonna
Okay.
get on to the next meeting, okay?
Anything else, guys? Okay, not hearing anything. Can I have a motion to adjourn the work session?
Motion to adjourn.
That was Anthony.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right, is it, we got 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Might as well just stay on. You have a flag, Maureen, or you want me to hold up mine?
I do. I have one on my screen. So I'll just share my screen.
Is Mark DeGenero away?
He's not away. When we spoke earlier, we talked about what was on the agenda for tonight, and there wasn't really anything that
Right.
he needed to address, but he did ask me to text him and he would jump on if you needed him for anything.
No, I don't think we do. I was just curious. All right, we got 2 minutes. All right, I have 8 o'clock.
Me too.
Okay, let me read the opening statement. The August 12th, 2020 public meeting of the Wykoff Planning Board is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. Copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. Copy has been filed with the Township Clerk, the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald and News, all newspapers with general circulation throughout the Township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and mailed to said newspapers. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Green.
That's it.
There it is.
Thanks, Maureen. I pledge
You're
allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
And
One
One
nation,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining this evening in the middle of the summer. Maureen, can we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Mr. On,
Here.
Mr. Alexandru,
Here.
Ms. Conlon. Here. Mr. Riato,
Here.
Mr. Homechak,
here.
Mayor Shanley.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice, it works.
Yay. Chairman Fortunato.
Here. Okay, the work session, which we just completed, we approved the July 8th, 2020 work session and regular business minutes with some minor changes. We also approved payment resolution number 20-08. And the Galasso Enterprises matter, which is 825 Wyndham Court North, has been carried to the September meeting. What's the date of the September meeting, Maureen?
The September meeting is the 9th,
September
9/9.
Okay, Wednesday, September 9th. Mr. Whitaker, the applicant's attorney, will be sending out notices on that. We have advised him that we intend to have an in-person meeting on September 9th and that he should be ready to proceed with his application. And Mr. Pekarsky, the attorney for the objectors, will also be notified that we intend to proceed at the September 9th meeting. And then the Kale matter, just an update on that. Apparently, Mr. Kale has filed a pool application, which may or may not be complete at this time, but which was done within the 60-day grace period that we had granted him a couple of meetings ago. So that may be back before us in September as well. There are no other items on the agenda. And if anybody has anything else before I open it up to the public, anybody else have any comments or
Yeah,
questions?
I know you guys could not hear me at the work session. Just have Kevin Hanley confirm if it's a new application or not for the Galasso matter. I believe it's just a continuation of it. My recollection is he had to renotice it because there was such a delay between the last hearing and when we're going to hear it again. That is my recollection of it. I want to make sure we're legally on solid ground.
All right.
That is
By the way, Mayor, that's my recollection also.
Okay.
If
So,
that-
but I'm going to speak with Bruce Whitaker and also to Mr. Pekarsky and clarify this.
Excellent. It's
I do-
always
I
good to
do-
have an attorney on the board, and we now have Kelly, who is also an attorney. So welcome, Kelly. I wasn't able to formally welcome you other than putting it into chat, but Kelly was a tremendous asset to the zoning board. And because we lost Sarah Caprio and we didn't have any women representing us on the planning board, we had asked Kelly to move over so that we have a woman on the planning board. So thank you for agreeing to do that, Kelly, and welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard, Kelly.
So having said that, it may very well be a continuation. Maureen, are you able to email those audio rather than putting them on a thumb drive?
I possibly can email the files. I know I can email files. It's just that if they're huge, I may have to do it in separate emails. I'm also preparing to send everybody, obviously if it's a brand new application, I may not do this, but my plan was to send everyone all of the minutes from any of the meetings.
Okay. Maureen, I remember specifically talking to Mr. Whitaker about this. So I think the mayor is right and Mr. Hanley is right that we should get clarification on this. But I do specifically remember asking him if he expected the new members and people who hadn't attended the initial meeting to listen. He had said no, because I know
Okay.
the thing was sitting on my desk and I was, planning on going through the rest of it and I held off. So we will wait for confirmation from Mr. Hanley when he reaches out to both attorneys and we'll get clarification on that. Kevin, if you can try to do that next week so we have plenty of time in advance of the meeting to know whether.
I'm going to be away for part of next week. I was planning on calling him on Friday.
Okay.
I'm tied up tomorrow with some matters.
And then ask them to ask each attorney to send something in writing confirming what their position is on that.
Very good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Kelly, it doesn't, you don't have to listen to it all at once. I did it over a bunch of different days. And I used the thumb drive and I just plugged it into my computer and just clicked each one. There's quite a few files on the thumb drive.
Yeah.
You eventually get to it. And it's, it's doable, but it just takes a little time.
Ideally, if it is a new application and you don't have to listen to it, because the recordings
Right.
from those meetings were not good, like Rob said.
They're very, very
Not-
difficult.
yeah.
Okay. We have any other business? No, I'm going to open it up to the public. If anybody from the public is present on the line, Maureen, do we have anybody who appears to have called in?
We do not.
What a shock.
We do not.
What are people doing with their Wednesday nights in August? Man, I don't get this.
They're at Dairy Queen.
That's where we should have been doing the meeting. All right. No one from the public appearing. We'll give it another 10 seconds. And if not, we will close the public comment period. Okay, nobody, I guess, is called in.
No takers.
Okay, so we'll close the public comment period of the meeting. And there being no other business, can I have a motion to close the August meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mayor? John? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
No.
Okay, thanks again, guys, for coming on. We'll see everybody hopefully in person September.
Thanks, guys. See you Sunday.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your summer.
All right, take
Night,
care.
everybody.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Maureen.
Will you let
Bye.
me know if I need to review the tapes by email?
Of course.
You will, okay.
And I'll get them to you as soon as possible.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
even pick up,
anytime.
thumb drive, pick it up from the police department or wherever you're gonna leave